Welcome back to my channel, Coin Purchaser, Coin Collectors, and History Hunters. Today we've got something absolutely fascinating, a coin that's surrounded by mystery, legacy, and immense value. We're diving deep into the Edward VII GRA Brit, OMN, REX, FID, DEF, IND, IMP, 1 penny 1911 coin. Yes, you heard that right, 1911 Edward VII. But wasn't he already gone by then? Stay tuned as we uncover this numismatic marvel, its full history, circulation details, and today's shocking market value. Let's start with the mystery. The 1911 Edward VII 1 penny should not even exist. Why? Because King Edward VII died in May 1910, and coins of 1911 should bear the name and portrait of his son, King George V, who succeeded him. Yet, this coin exists with Edward VII's royal title and the date 1911. What's going on here? Is it fake? Is it a mint error? Is it a collector's dream come true? Let's break it all down. First, let's translate the Latin inscription you see on the obverse of the coin. Edward VII GRA Brit, OMN, REX, FID, DEF, IND, IMP. This means, Edward VII, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. This royal title was used throughout his reign from 1901 to 1910, but by 1911, the official coinage had already transitioned to George V. On the obverse we see the regal portrait of King Edward VII facing right. The engraving is clean and sharp, with fine detail in the hair and beard, typical of the royal mint's craftsmanship. On the reverse, the classic seated Britannia figure appears. She holds a trident in her left hand and a shield bearing the Union Jack in her right. The word 1 penny is boldly inscribed around her, and below sits the date, 1911. This reverse design was used from the mid-Victorian period well into the reign of George V, and it's instantly recognizable to British coin enthusiasts. Here's the kicker. The official Royal Mint did not produce any Edward VII pennies dated 1911. That makes any such coin a numismatic anomaly. So what could this mean? The coin is a private mint fantasy piece or replica, not struck by the Royal Mint. It could be a die mix-up where a mint worker used an old die of Edward VII for testing or early production in 1911. It might be a forgery or error token created by a die engraver as a test strike. Only expert analysis, weight testing, metal composition analysis, and microscopic inspection can verify authenticity. But regardless, these coins are extremely rare, and collectors are eager to own one. King Edward VII ruled from 1901 until his death in 1910. He was the eldest son of Queen Victoria and ushered in what we now call the Edwardian era, a time of elegance, industrial advancement, and empire building. During his reign, the Royal Mint produced a range of coins with his image, including halfpennies, pennies, farthings, florins, and crowns. The Edwardian penny, introduced in 1902, became a staple in everyday British commerce and was minted consistently until his passing. In 1911, the coinage officially transitioned to King George V, whose portrait replaced Edward VII across all denominations. A penny bearing Edward's name dated 1911 defies the mint's timeline, making it historically significant and worth investigating. Many coin historians believe these pieces might have been privately struck or unauthorized mint tests, which somehow made their way into circulation or collector markets. If authentic, the 1911 Edward VII 1 penny would have followed the standard specifications of its time: 95% copper, 4% tin, 1% zinc, weight approximately 9.45 grams, diameter about 30.8 mm. Edge plain. Now, most Edwardian pennies were struck in huge quantities and saw heavy circulation across the British Empire. But this 1911 anomaly, if it circulated at all, would have been extremely limited, perhaps even accidental. Now for the part that really excites collectors' value and worth. If a 1911 Edward VII 1 penny was ever truly circulated, it would have looked worn, possibly with faded lettering or a smooth Britannia, even in a circulated state. A verified authentic specimen could command hundreds to thousands of dollars simply due to its rarity and the historical error behind its existence. Uncirculated or proof-like pieces, if they exist, would be priceless treasures. Private collectors, museums, and even Royal Mint historians would compete to obtain such a specimen. According to auction history and numismatic reports, a well-struck fantasy piece or restrike may sell for between $200 to $800. A verified test strike or mint error from 1911 with Edward VI's bust could fetch between $1,000 to $5,000 depending on provenance and condition. If a certified original specimen was confirmed by experts as authentic Royal Mint production, it could soar beyond $10,000 or more. Especially if it's the only known example. Thinking you might have one of these mysterious coins? Here's what to do. Check the details, look at the portrait, date, and lettering. Are they consistent with genuine Edwardian pennies? Weigh the coin, ensure it falls within the standard 9.4 to 9.5 grams range. Test the metal should not be magnetic. Seek expert appraisal. Only a numismatic expert or grading service like PCGS or NGC can confirm if your coin is genuine or a fantasy piece. Remember, even well-made replicas can look convincing to the untrained eye. This coin, the 1911 Edward VII 1 penny, is more than just a copper disc. It represents a bridge between two great monarchs, a curious historical glitch, and a treasure that challenges even seasoned collectors. So whether it's a mint test, a fantasy strike, or a rare survivor from a forgotten die, this coin is a true mystery of the numismatic world. If you ever come across one, and just toss it aside. It might just be the key to a forgotten chapter of British coinage history. Thanks for watching, coin lovers. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the rare 1911 Edward VII penny, don't forget to like the video, comment if you've ever seen or heard of this coin, subscribe for more rare coin histories and market values, and as always, keep collecting, keep hunting, and keep the past alive, one coin at a time.